Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 15 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team. And it's live. FPL Team is your best one-stop shop for all your FPL future planning. Very handy at this time of year when we got a blank game week coming up on the horizon, which is only 3 game weeks away. As a reminder, this is a 6 PM UK time Game Week 15 deadline. It's just gone 5:05 UK time. I wouldn't expect anything on Arsenal close to deadline, as I don't kick off till 8:15. I don't think there'll be too many shocks in the Wolves lineup that will influence people too much, so I probably wouldn't leave it to lastminute.com in terms of making transfers today, should you want to do so, of which I'm not. It looks like I'm rolling. So I'm lining up this week with Johnston in goal, a back three of Saliba, Udogie, Tsimikas, Saka, Mbeumo, Son, Martinelli, Alvarez, Darwin Nunez, and it's captain Erling Haaland for me. And I can tell you the decision to captain Haaland over Heung-min Son has been close. Jared Bowen is my first sub. I also have Jamel Lascelles as my first defensive cover. Below my team on screen, you'll see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. The headline news from those predictions is I think Darwin Nunez probably does not start for Liverpool, and yet he's still in my team because half hour against Sheffield United, I think, a tired Sheffield United could be better than most people's 90 against most teams. So for most people, I think it's still a start. But in terms of anyone's not got Salah and is thinking maybe of captaining him, I'd probably knock that on the head. For me, I think rolling's quite important. I've kind of been lining up to go Johnson to Sanchez in game week 16, but I'm aware I've got some defensive problems for me on my strategy. I'm going to wildcard in game week 19, but I have Udogie on 4 yellows. I have Cash on 4 yellows and rotational, and Sven Botman returning to training for Newcastle. And that, with what I've got, would be my starting back 3 in game week 18. So I need to take a breather here, I think, rather than react negatively to, I bought Nunez instead of Watkins. Yes, and the decision's made. We crack on. We stick with it. Now was always a kind of a roll period for me. It was always going to either be roll the last week or roll this week. It's now going to be roll this week. I can't foresee anything happens here that makes me make a transfer. Like, I think even if, say I got a leak that Martinelli wasn't in the Arsenal lineup, I think I'll just bench him, play Bowen, and breathe, and come back to it in game week 16. That would be the plan at the moment. If you're watching live, guys, smash a like. Below me, you'll see the benching dilemmas. They run in order. Outfield players, pages 1 to 4. There's goalkeepers on page 5. The player with the tick is the preferred option to start. So, for example, you may see on screen right now Tsimikas over Palmer as a preference, and then you see Palmer over Porro, so it's obviously Tsimikas over Porro. They run in order like that, pages 1 to 4. Captaincy for me, quite straightforward. If you've got Mo Salah, he's getting the armband, and then I think it's Haaland, Son, Saka. Anything else is a little bit rogue. The rogue one I don't mind this week is if people have got Trent. I think if you were sitting there with Trent and not Mo Salah, I'd be a little bit tempted. But we must remember that obviously Sheffield United have reappointed Chris Wilder today. So although I don't think it hugely impacts the game tomorrow, it will certainly impact the atmosphere. They'll be up for it from the start, I would say. And their effort levels, you would expect, would certainly go up a notch. Which makes obviously their likelihood of scoring a little bit more likely. Correct score predictions also on screen. For the benefit of my patrons, there's one change from the podcast we did this morning. I didn't realise Christian Norgard was suspended for Brentford, so I have backed Brighton to win today. That's the graphics all covered off. We are circa 50 minutes to deadline. I will rattle through your questions as quickly as I can. They will be covered in order of submission. If there are repeat similar questions to something I've already covered, I may say thank you very much for your question and skip it. Please check graphics because you may well find the answer to your question is on screen. Dion Chung is first. This evening, James. For those like you, wildcard 19, can you suggest best 4-week punts you'd actually go for? Cheers. Yeah, so Pedro Porro defensively. I think Tottenham is the one to attack, really do. I spoke about this on the pod yesterday, that if you're working towards 18, the 4 teams I think you're really looking at the moment are Tottenham, Chelsea, Newcastle and Villa. And I think it's Tottenham first. It's Tottenham first because of not just the fixtures this week, but the fixtures to come as well. And also with Tottenham, because of no midweek fixtures at all, there's nothing to worry about from that perspective, right? So whereas all the other three have all got cup games to play in between. So Tottenham, and because of the injury situation, you know what you're getting basically. So if you want to gamble Porro now, like he's playing every game unless he gets an injury. Whereas you'd invest in, say, a Newcastle or a Villa or even a Chelsea defender, it just feels like the situation could change. So I think it's Tottenham now. It's arguably Chelsea at the weekend or in 17. And then I think it's Newcastle 17 or 18 and then Villa 18. They're the ones. The other one I don't mind at all from an enabler perspective, which I think would be a one for now, is Wolves. So Cunha, Bellegarde, Hwang, Craig Dawson, all reasonable pickups for those, I think, looking really, really short term at the moment. So for me, in my thinking now, I'm now at a stage where I rolled where it's probably come back for Tottenham, but I think most people making a transfer. If I was making a transfer now, I think I'd go cash to Porro, would be the one. That would be the most likely transfer that I'd probably make. But I look at my team this week and I think, so what am I doing? I force Porro in now and then what? Or I bench Udogie instead? It just feels like a little bit more information would be more powerful for me. That then locks in my three Tottenham players. I have a sneaky that I might want to dive into Brennan Johnson as a 1 week punt in game week 18. That cuts me off of that. So there's little things where for me I think it's better off waiting. But for others, yeah, I don't mind attacking into Tottenham. Romero being back is going to make a monster difference. That's not to say we definitely win on Thursday or anything like that. But he's going to make a big difference both defensively and offensively. Ilan Melchior says, hi James, hope you're well. Bench one of Diaby, Palmer and Bowen. So the answer there from the benching dilemmas is actually Cole Palmer, surprisingly. Dan Wilsh says, hi James, bench Cher or Udogie. I'd play Destiny, mate. Sheriff says, hi mate, bench one of Shimikas, Lascelles and Gay, thanks. So Shimikas, Gay, Lascelles would be my order of starting. LP says, evening James, have exact funds to do Bowen to Son for free this week. Would you make this move now, wait until game week 17? Plan for Watkins back in would be to downgrade Mbeumo in game week 18. Cheers. Yeah, I'd do it. If that's the move you're weighing up, yeah, I'd get it done. Darko says, hi James, best replacement for Eze below 7 million. Gordon, Palmer or someone else. Yeah, Gordon is just a reasonable, obvious one to go to. That's a different one in the sense that I used the analogy of the defensive ones. But say if you were thinking about Brennan Johnson, like I'd probably rather you bought Gordon now because, say, Richarlison is looming and what's the impact of that? Now, it probably just means that Johnson goes to the right, but it could be that Kulusevski goes to the right. Perhaps Sarr's return might force that, and then it could be a Johnson versus Richarlison. So that's why that's a really last-minute one. So I think Anthony Gordon, at the moment, he's the one in all seriousness. Don't spend all the money for the sake of spending the more money. I think that's the one. But again, it's a little bit dependent on your strategy. So you might want to look at, if you're free hitting in game week 18, you know, I don't even mind something like a Bernardo Silva, for example. But I think Gordon's the right answer. Ryan McWilliams says, hi James, for -4, would you sell Martinelli to get one of Saka's son? No, I think like Martinelli's been mad off frustrating, but you know, on the Patreon pod this morning I did with Clay and he's like, he's coming for him. And I think for those like me who own, it's like, I'm not sure it is, but I also probably wouldn't move it. Now, it's easy for me, I'm sitting there with the other two players you're interested in, but I wouldn't consider selling Martinelli for this game week. I think even in my case, as I said, for me, even if I got word, he's potentially a sub tonight, then I'll just bench him, play Bowen instead. So I think, is there anything out there that obvious during a midweek set of fixtures that you think you really want to... I mean, the two players there are obviously going to start, you would like to think. Son definitely does. Saka's like 98%, isn't he? Not from -5. I don't think so. Not with the fixture Arsenal have got. Like, can Martinelli outscore Saka in one game? Like, yeah, of course, sure. So, you know, if you go Martinelli to Son for free at the weekend, that feels better to me. Lee Sherwood says, hi, mate, would you still go Gordon over Hwang with his flag? Would that stop you? Literally irrelevant, mate. He's trained this morning is the word that we think we've had, so, and they don't play till Thursday. So, the Newcastle don't have options either, right? he's going to play, I'm fairly certain of that. Jay says, hi James, Martinelli has been frustrating to own, but I'm wondering if it is the last chance to own or sell him for Hwang, who seems to have favourable home fixtures coming up. Yeah, I get that, and as said, like, you know, if you're going for Wolves, it probably is now. Burnley and Nottingham Forest at home. So I mentioned Hwang as a possibility. I don't mind that at all, but again, I wouldn't be comfortable necessarily taking Martinelli out this week. If you're desperate, if you said to me, I desperately want Hwang for the next 3, because that feels like a go now, whereas the Son and Saka ones do feel more like, okay, there's still a run coming up, whereas Wolves, it feels like it's got to be now, maybe, I think. It could be considered, but on the face of it, really, just stop and say, you're moving an Arsenal attacker to a Wolves attacker. Is that really what you want to do? And I think when you do that, you'll go, no, I'll give it one more. When Arsenal go to Villa, that gives me a bit more of an excuse for something else. That's how I would think, personally. Paul Dolan says, hi James, a 2-3 transfer. What do you think of Cash to Porro and Diaby to Gordon, wildcard in game week 19? Yeah, I don't mind it. It's giving you 2 better assets over the next 3. Look, obviously the 2 Villa players could be outstanding in game week 18, but I don't think we could sit here right now and be absolutely certain that they'd start. So, whereas the other 2, I think we probably would. So, yeah, for frees, yeah, I don't mind that. Porro's the one. I said it again on our Patreon pod this morning. Porro's the one every week. I'm like, oh my god, I've been like this every week since game week 4. I can just never get there. Ollie Rose says, good evening, James. Good evening, Ollie. Shout out to Tiffany FPL Firefly as well. Hope you're well. Dirk says Diaby to Hwang, Saka or Roll. Also is Dubravka worth a -4. Do you normally come here, mate? We don't do -4s for goalkeepers, mate, ever. The only case to be would be you've got no goalkeeper. Okay, let's have a conversation. But if you've got a playing goalkeeper, it's a no. I don't care who that playing goalkeeper is. I wouldn't care if it was Wes Foderingham. I'd say no to the -4. Diaby to Hwang, Saka. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess with Saka, it's like if you get him in and he blanks hypothetically tonight, how do you feel about the next 3? He's such a consistent animal. Particularly if you've used the first wild card, I would just go to Saka personally. If your wild card 19, then there would maybe be a case to go Hwang and use that money for something else. What No Graphic says, hello James, bench Watkins, Alvarez or Palmer. That's Palmer, comfortable one really. Nathan says, hi James, should I start Shimikas or Pedro Porro? Double Arsenal defence and my other 2 defenders. I think Shimikas probably plays. That's 70% confidence in that. But I think as soon as you'd see the team, if he's in it, you'd regret it massively. You'd regret it massively. It's worth saying if he's a sub, he probably does come on. So it probably does end up being a 1-pointer for you. But I think the answers there would still be Shimikas. I would not want to... He's close because we know Porro will play. We'd also fancy Liverpool for a clean sheet way more than Tottenham this week. So it's close. But I thought about this sort of thing as well. I.e., if I did go Cash to Porro, what do I leave out? And you go, would you be comfortable leaving Shimikas out? And I think, not really. As I said earlier, I'd play Porro probably instead of Udogie. And you know what the inevitability of that is. You put one player in from one team instead of another. Yep, Udogie scores Thursday. So, I'd play Shimikas, mate. DC says, with Adingra due a rest, is Adingra to Palmer worth a -4? No, I don't think so, mate. No, I don't think so. Think of it to flip it back, right? You're saying Adingra's worth a rest, okay? So I presume you think Adingra will start against Burnley at the weekend. Nice fixture, that. Andrew Grundy says, hi James, experiencing the joys of having 8 attackers. Good, isn't it? It's a headache, but it's good fun. Bench 1 from Bowen, Kudos, Gordon. I think Bowen was above Gordon on the graphic, but would you bench 1 West Ham boy away to Tottenham? To be honest, I've got Gordon above both of them, mate. Actually, I've got Gordon above Bowen. So the answer would be Kudos, I think. 11 I'm Ross Kenny. Which 3 do I start from? Cher, Shimikas, Saliba, Porro? It would be Cher would be the one I'd get left out. Yep, there's a couple of surprising correct score predictions if you have a look. I think Everton might win Thursday. And I think Man City might get beat at Villa tomorrow as well. So, can get some random ones in midweeks. Ryan Walker says, evening James, bench 1 of Watkins, Darwin, Nunez, Gordon, Palmer, Sterling. Palmer, pretty certain that Palmer will start, but I think Palmer, yeah. You've got Raheem Sterling, you're benching it. Nah. I actually think Sterling might end up in a draw against Region tomorrow night, and if that's the case, you don't want to do that. Ishan says, hi James, which 2 of Porro, Lascelles and Gay? Thanks and have a great game week. So we're into repetitive here already, guys, where the answers are all on the graphics. So if you look at the end of page 4, you'll find your answer because Gay and Lascelles are both there, mate. Zaris said, should I have Archer for first sub or Maguire and Taylor Archer is a forward but always has 1-2 points. Greetings from Greece, my friend. Okay, so what's the most likely thing here this weekend? So Charlie Taylor to get you something at Wolves away, Harry Maguire to get you something against Chelsea, or Cameron Archer to get you attacking return against Liverpool. I actually think the most likely thing there, unbelievably, is probably Harry Maguire against Chelsea. Pranaya says, hi James, should I do Martinelli to Saka? Have exact funds for it? If it's exact funds, there'd be a temptation because you're about to get cut off it. So probably yes, despite what I just said about the Porro-Udogie analogy. Clearly in my mind, Saka is a better asset than Martinelli. Although clearly in my mind, Porro over Udogie. But that can flip as well. Michael McKinley says, hi James, Turner to Dubravka or Martinelli to Saka. Getting Saka will keep me from Watkins in 2 weeks. Then you've answered your own question, mate, because you don't want to be kept from Watkins for game week 18, mate. Steve says, good evening, James. Do I bring in Trippier for cash this week and James for Anderson next week? Or Dubravka for Turner, have Areola as other goalkeeper, and then Trippier for Anderson cash next week, thanks. So Kieran Trippier's on 4 yellows. So you have to factor that in right now. You have to factor that into your thinking. So that you want to give yourself as long as possible. You know, if you need Kieran Trippier for game week 17 and 18, you're almost hoping he gets booked this week and misses Tottenham. That's probably, for Trippier owners, that's probably the ideal scenario, is he gets booked this week and misses Tottenham. Because of the fixtures afterwards being Fulham, not Luton, Nottingham Forest. Like you don't want to miss them. It's not that he can't return at Tottenham, but I think you get what I'm saying. So no, I think at this moment, now he's on 4 yellows, he becomes a weight for Kieran Trippier. I wouldn't be desperate to have him for 2 away games. So I wouldn't make that move. So it's the goalkeeper move by default, probably. Stevie J10 says, hi James, cash to Colwell, Branthwaite and Martinelli to Son for a -4. I don't think you can pick up any Chelsea defender personally till game week 17. Other than the James punt I get, but those ones, the centre backs, I wouldn't bother picking any of them up till game week 17. And you probably want. I saw FBL Harry tweet this earlier, and I agreed with it completely. He said about if you wanted a Chelsea centre back for the upcoming great run, you probably want to see someone start both Manchester United and Everton before you felt comfortable about doing it. So Colwell was part of that. What you're doing there, mate, is you're taking the -4 to go Martinelli to Son, isn't it? Really? Because your choice of Colwell, Branthwaite don't scream to me that you need them to play this week. Is Martinelli to Son worth a -4? It's probably a no, mate. It's probably a no. Let me use the example from the weekend, right? I was thinking of a potential -8 that would have included moving Son to Salah. And there have been plenty of people would have made that move because of the fixtures at the weekend. And look how that turned out. Nah, can it wait? Arash says, hi James, start Pedro or Palmer. It's going to be, I presume that's João Pedro rather than Pedro Porro. Sorry, you say Pedro. I'm on first name terms with the Tottenham players, mate. So I'm not really, but you know what I mean. João Pedro I've got on the captaincy, mate. I've got him 9th. Above Matthias Cunha. This is the most confident I've been all season, I think, since game week 1, that João Pedro would start. Harry! We're trying to do a deadline stream here, mate. So in case you hadn't guessed, yeah, I'm looking after my son at the same time here as well. So if you're wondering what that noise is, yeah, it's my 5-year-old boy babbling away to himself. He's happy. He's well fed. He's good. Harry! Harry! Are you going to eat your apple? Don't forget. Who's next? Ian PTSD, my friends. I hope you're well, mate. Says, hey, James, got 1 free transfer. I think cash to Romero. Do I already have Porro or shall I roll? I mean, what's your circumstance? You having to play cash? Which won't feel ideal. Have you got good cover? Romero doesn't feel... It's not great for FPL. And Udogie's another one. He's on 4 yellows as well. So he's in no buyer territory, right? So it's a roll, mate. I mean, there's more power in that. I could go cash to Porro. And I realise I'm set up differently to most people because the sort of bench I've got. But it could start looking quite bleak for me quite quickly. So I think I need to wait. Hasselbank's win says, by the way, smash a like, people. It's about 15% of you done it. Doesn't cost anything, remember. It's all free content. If you want to support the show and get more content, it's www.patreon.com/planetfpl. If you just want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/. Harry, I'm trying to talk here and concentrate. Patreon.com/planetfpl. Harry. What the?
Oh, no.
Harry. Shh. Come here. Come here.
Boys.
Can you say hello?
Hello.
Good boy. Right, go and play, please. You can't touch the mic. You're not old enough yet. I mean, that's worth a like, isn't it? Come on. Hasselbank's win says, thoughts on the Euros draw for England if it's a failure if they don't win it, given the talented squad. It's a cup competition. No one's ever a failure if they don't win a cup competition, mate. A Man City a failure if they don't win the Champions League this year. Real Madrid a failure. You know, England aren't the only team in the competition. If England didn't get out the group, that would be a failure, right? It's a cup competition. Cup competition. The best team don't always win cup competitions. And we ain't the best team there anyway. France are. Zaris says, what is your opinion about Nottingham Forest goalkeeper Vlachodimos? Hope for Turner come back. I think you might be hoping in vain, mate. He looks a little bit safer to me, so I think he probably stays in. Elron Cupboard says, what do you think about starting Nketiah over Diaby? I mean, I think Diaby starts and Nketiah doesn't, so that'll answer itself. FC Paul says, evening James, let's imagine Nkunku comes off the bench this game week and returns. How long would you give it before considering to move him in? Well, he won't because he's not in the squad. He won't play unless Chelsea have lied. Which, to be honest, I don't recall Chelsea particularly lying this year about their injury status. So he doesn't play, mate, so that's not going to happen. What do you do? I mean, if he scores at Everton at the weekend, I'll go straight into him for Sheffield United with no knowledge of even what position he'll necessarily play. And it's off the table at the moment, isn't it? Till he plays a couple. Doesn't have to return. He has to play a couple. Aninda says, hi James, good luck on your game week and to you too. Who should I start between João Pedro or Diaby? Or bench Martinelli and play both? So no, it'd be bench Diaby. Suran, my friend, says hello. Brought in Porro for cash. Already have Tripp, Shimikas and Lascelles. Who should I start? Porro, Lascelles. That's a straightforward one, mate. Play my boy. Josh Obby says, hi mate. What's your thoughts on Ben White this week? Think he'll start? Very, very confident of that. The word in the Arsenal community as early as this morning was that Tomiyasu probably won't be risked. So, yeah, I would be very confident that Ben White and Zinchenko would start tonight. That community might be wrong, by the way, but that's the feeling. Justin Dyer says, thanks for all the content during the City season. Chat, please smash the like and subscribe button. Cheers, Justin. Thank you, mate. Hope it was well. Shout out to Brendan O'Brien. Hope you're well, mate. Pranias says, bench one from Cash Taylor Kabore. Bench one. I mean, there's no point playing Kabore, I don't think, mate. There's no point at all. So there's your answer. Zaris says, what is your option about He Chan for a cheap forward? Good program for Wolves. Yep. Again, I think Cunha, if you need a forward. Huang, absolutely fine. If you need a real enabler, I think even Bellegarde. And I think if you want a defensive one at this moment, particularly again for wildcarders 19, because of the little bit of attacking threat, I would go Craig Dawson now that his suspension's finished. MRCX says, hey James, thanks for the stream. Almost forgot the deadline. Should I sell Bowen for Gordon? Again, I feel like there's probably more power in rolling, and can you make that switch maybe if you still want to in, say, game week 17? Mind you, probably don't want to get rid of Bowen then. I think Bowen's got a better fixture in 16 than Gordon, arguably. Gordon's got a better fixture this week. I don't know, you want to get rid of Bowen because he's playing Tottenham, but then you're going to have Gordon playing against Tottenham next, so I don't know. I think that calls like that are close enough that it's probably wait, I think, at the moment, I would say. Noah Van Oyen says, benching headache here. Palmer, Bruno. There's lots of Brunos, mate. Or João Pedro. I presume you're going to mean Bruno Fernandes. Bench one. Leaning Bruno at the moment because I can't see João Pedro not starting. But is it a simple X-Men's decision with Bruno Fernandes? Really don't know help. Yeah, I'd still play a Bruno Fernandes over a Cole Palmer, personally. Let's be real about it. If Bruno Fernandes was Cole Palmer's price, a lot of us would have him in our team, even though I realise he's not done a lot this season from a fantasy perspective, but we'd be like, oh my God. So, yeah, play Bruno, mate. Sage says, should I keep Alvarez or get Watkins? I'd stick at the moment, mate. Adam says, hey, James, start Pinnock away to Brighton or Maguire at home to Chelsea. It's probably Maguire, actually. That Norgard suspension threw me. I didn't realise he was out. That's a big blow for them. MRCX says play Taylor over Matty Cash. Probably. Michael Scott says start Livramento or Gay. Livramento more attacking than Lascelles, who I see you would not play ahead of Gay. Yeah, Lascelles, I mean, Livramento is obviously it's more attacking threat. So, I mean, that on that one, Livramento just be close. I'm trying to look up and think, I'd play Gibbs White over Livramento, definitely. So he's close still. I wonder as well, because Trippier's on 4 yellows, and he's not long come back from injury. I wonder if he's a guaranteed starter this week. I'm pretty confident he plays. But could there be a case because they'd be worried if they got in this situation where, say, Tripp's got booked and then Livramento was knackered? Or even if they got in a situation where Livramento got booked, Trippier got booked in the first half and they went, well, we absolutely will need Livramento on Sunday. Could they take him off at half time? It's probably overthink. But therefore, I'll probably just still go Gay. I think. Just go Gay. Palace can pick up a clean sheet. I was going to say any time is not quite right, but he's still capable. We should be shocked if Palace won 1-0 this week. Not really. Lewis Bowman says, Hwang, Palmer, Gordon, Brennan, Garnacho. Which cheap mid to buy this week? It's Gordon. Matthew Stock, he's like doing the same as last week's stream all over again, to be honest. Matthew Stock says, bench one of Shimikas or Gordon. Shimikas with huge reluctance. Prania says, best cash replacement. I've got Gabriel, Shimikas, Taylor, Kabori, and nothing in the bank. Jeez, you need to get cheap in, mate, so you can move one of the other ones as well. So, yeah, you need to move something there, mate. That's a problem. Livramento, ironically, I think is your answer. I think, yeah. Livramento, or like Dawson and then Livramento, if that works for you financially. Something like that. Something like that is your solution, I think. Ben Martin says, selling cash, who is the best buy? Own trips, Udogi, Gabriel. There you go. Porro, if you can afford it. Otherwise, one of the cheaper names I just mentioned. Gavin Richardson says, hi James, love your content. For your information, think some of us also watch you on our phones so we can message, but the TV won't be synced to our accounts. Feels so bad when your likes are at 18% and I can't. Well, just hit the bloody like anyway. You're watching on your TV, yeah? So just get on your phone and hit the button, mate. Yeah? You can do it. Surely you can. I appreciate it, Gavin. I get what you're saying, mate. Comment, but I like when I can. It's appreciated, mate. My friend Rhinos is in. This evening, James. You've got Darwin over Alvarez in starting dilemmas, but you've not got Darwin in Klopp's lineup. Is that how tough the game is for City? No. It's how easy the game is for Liverpool. That's the answer. That's the answer. If I was sitting here confident that Darwin Nunez was going to start, I might have captained him this week. So that's more the answer. But yes, it is a tough game for City as well. Gavin would like everyone to smash a like, y'all. Be appreciated. We're 30% or so smash a likes. Appreciated. Birth Media says Cunha as a captaincy option. Wow. Yeah, what, Burnley kept one clean sheet against Sheffield United and we're suddenly thinking they can't get spanked at Molineux. Well, and their best centre-back's injured. Oh, suspended, sorry. Why not? I mean, you wouldn't, would you? But to be honest, it's running out. There's only 4 this week, isn't there, really? It's Salah, Haaland, Son, Saka. I think it also probably represents me saying, which I didn't really on the pod yesterday, that if someone wants an enabling forward for the next 4 weeks, Cunha's quite a decent option. So it also allowed me to highlight that as well. Are you actually going to captain Cunha? No, of course you're not. Michael Scott says, worth putting in Kettering starting 11 ahead of Palmer. Seen him starting in some predicted lineups. Is he in your predicted lineup, Michael? He's not in mine. So I'd have to say no. But I get it. It'll probably get minutes. Also worth remembering he hasn't scored a goal away from home in the Premier League for a year. James Malero would like everyone to hit the like button. Thank you, mate. JP says start Palmer or Solanke. Back to number 9, mate. Back to number 9. Palace missing Decore, which is contradictory to what I said about Gay. But yeah, I'd play Solanke in that one. Just dad posting stuff says no question. Just want to say thanks, mate. Love your content. Thank you. JP says thoughts on Dubravka on both fantasy games. Fine. Thoughts on Lo Celso, both fantasy games. Less. Fine. Sudge is in, retracting messages. Hope you're well, boss. James Johnson says Sky plans and captains this week, mate. Can I be totally honest with you? I've only got Saliba tonight, so that's captain. I sold Pope for Sanchez on Sunday. So I might not be doing anything. Captains would be Saliba. If he's not in the team, I probably will go and buy Saka. Because I've got the money, I can do it. But I probably wouldn't. I don't see why Saliba wouldn't play. Tomorrow, Salah. Thursday, Sonny. Remember, the Sky Pod this week is on Thursday. Clash of Correspondence. Tomorrow, Manchester United versus Bournemouth with Gary Robinson and Neil Grover. So I've not... Can I be honest with you? I've slept about 13 hours in the last 3 days. And I haven't even been on FPL team to plan ahead my future FPL weeks. I just knew the right thing for me was to roll this week. I barely looked at my own fantasy content this week. Once I get this deadline out of the way and I get a good night's sleep, as long as Saliba's playing, we'll start looking at shit tomorrow where I'll have a bit more time. Brian says, hi James, start the cells or a Dingra. It's a Dingra, isn't it? Even though there's a risk element to starting, it's still him, isn't it? I think, unless if you truly think Newcastle will keep a clean sheet, which they're obviously very capable of doing, then go that way. Christian says, would you do Marseille to Sun this week or give him the Luton game? Look, if you're doing that for free, someone asked -4 earlier, it's a bit more difficult. If you're doing that for free, think of the outcome again, right? So let's take the outcome that you move to Sun and Sun blanks and Martinelli returns. That could happen, right? But then you walk into then Arsenal's more difficult run, and then you've got Sun in place and it's ready for the good fixtures coming up afterwards. So, it could be a very fatigued... I mean, it's going to be walking wounded on Sunday at White Hart Lane, isn't it? Tottenham versus Newcastle with only a 3-day break. I mean, God knows what could happen there. But then that could be great for Sun, maybe. So, that's your worst-case scenario, right? You sell, and I still think then moving forward, you're happy. Whereas if you don't make the move, you might not. So, I think for free, yeah, I'd do it. Voya says, which team do you think will be the best for bringing in defenders in the next 5 game weeks? Next 5, it's still Newcastle, probably, in terms of the enabling ones. But I think you've got to wait for trips at the moment. If you're already on in that situation, then I think Wolves is pretty reasonable. Fulham is another one you could throw into the bargaining. You wouldn't want to start that Fulham asset in Gameweek 17 away to Newcastle. And Tottenham. But you're going in for the offensive reason, so it's just Porro at the moment would be the only one to consider. I think with Arsenal, I think it's wait now. Come back for game week 19, really. For the defensive players, at least. Yeah, you'd fancy him for a clean sheet this week, but next 3, tough. Karim says, I can't help it but imagining a haul from Mbeumo against Brighton. I will say to you, and I don't want to frighten anyone here, but that Norgard suspension, as I said, I wasn't aware. And normally I would be, and I wasn't. They're really light on numbers, Brentford. And they will play a back 5. I don't think it's impossible that Mbeumo plays wing back. And that's not ideal, because he'd be chasing Mitoma most of the game, probably. Bless you, Harry. So that wouldn't be good, right? Now, I don't think that will happen, but I think I wish I'd have been able to say that to you on the podcast yesterday, because I wasn't aware that Norgard was suspended. I think he'll play up front. They'll almost definitely go back 5, but they're light. They're massively light defensively and in midfield. So one solution would be just play Morpay and Visser up front and play Mbeumo at wing back. I don't think it's impossible. So I hope you're right. He's sitting in my team, and even if I didn't think, I'll play Bowen instead. Like, it never crossed my mind, because I wouldn't be able to forgive myself if he did what you said. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned. And it's another one. It's like he's got Sheffield United the weekend, so fine. And yeah, he's not going anywhere. Christian, that's the one we've done. Jack says start Gay or Dawson. I mean, it's probably Dawson, I think. Burnley have a set piece problem, so that probably gives that the edge. Gazman says, evening James, good luck, thank you. Ibby says Trent in for Shimikas for -4. No, look, it's great. He got returns at the weekend. He scored the week before. I still could not justify paying that money over him, even if I didn't think Shimikas was going to start. Couldn't justify it. Those who are on, great, terrific, crack on for the next two. Shaz Beast, there's start Solanke or Jesus. I think with the fixture, you got to go with Jesus, haven't you? As Winnie says, hey James, should I do Martinelli and Foster to Son and Mbeumo for a -4? It's the same thing here, right? This is just a Martinelli to Son for a -4. For the -4, I'm not so happy with that. Not so happy with it. Prania says, who is more nailed among Destiny, Colwell and Livramento for the upcoming festive period to start most games? Rank them. Almost impossible to rank Colwell at the moment. Genuinely, I should be guessing. Udogie will start every game for Tottenham that he's available for, but he's also on 4 yellow cards. If you don't get booked to start every game. Does Livramento start every game? Probably misses one somewhere as well, but you know, that might even be the Champions League game. I don't know. Probably not. Colwell, I've already mentioned. So, I mean, without the information, I'd have to say Udogie, Livramento, Colwell. But you can't buy Udogie at the moment if you need it for every week. I don't think you can. Fighter Jet says, evening James, 1 free transfer. Can Kulusevski cover Son's points? Thanks. What do you think? What do you think? Here's one for you. How many Dejan Kulusevski goals can you think of in Tottenham home games? I think you'll land with less than the amount of fingers you've got on one hand. Just weirdly, he seems to score more away from home than at home. I don't know why that is. He obviously got the late winner against Sheffield United early in the season. He obviously had a good chance against Villa. I don't like the fact that there's an unpredictability from a fantasy perspective where he'll play in forthcoming weeks. Which Sarr and Richarlison are both potential influences on that. He's obviously starting in a more central role, moving out wide later in games. He might not move out this week. He might just start out this week if Sarr's suddenly available. We obviously haven't got Angie's team news. I don't expect Sarr to be available. Too many question marks there, mate. Too many question marks. Learn to cover Son. Look, it's the same as always. It's a short period. It's a 4-game week span. Could he have a run where suddenly he scores 3 goals in the next 4 games and does quite well? Yeah, sure. How many do I think Son gets in the next 4? I can be honest with you, probably at least that. I think I would expect there's every chance Sonny be on a goal a game across the next 4. No, but can he? Yeah. Vaibaf says bench one of Adingra or Pedro or Palmer. So again, it's not going to be João Pedro this week. I would play Palmer over Adingra. Shaz B says taking hit for Son a G. I don't know. Are you a G, mate? Gavin Richardson says mood to Solanke goes ages back. Team change, huge rework, lost trips. All from Kunku coming in with Watkins, Haaland and template midfield. Leaking rank. Would you bail with me? Why would you sell Dominic Solanke at the moment? Why would you do that? I don't know if I misunderstood the question there, Gavin. He was doing absolutely fine. He's got really good fixtures to come. I don't know why he'd sell Dominic Solanke. Owen Murphy says, hi James, Gay or Shimikas. Hull says Darwin to start. The prediction is no. Hope I'm wrong. Well, actually, do you know what? I don't even mind, actually. Because I'd rather he started at Palace than started tonight. And I don't think he starts both. In the half hour tomorrow night, he still do some damage, right? It's coming up to about 50% of you have smashed the like. Come on, kids, keep up. It's about 17 minutes to deadline. Oh, no. The wife's sending me... Alright. Why are you doing that? Like I'm not fucking busy enough, woman. She's sending me screenshots of her team like I'm some sort of a superhero. But I can't face the argument if I don't respond to her, mate. What's she got? Areola in goal. Gay, Gabriel, Trippier, Walker. The team's not bad this week. Darwin, Watkins, Son, Bowen, Salah, Saka. Palmer on the bench even. Okay, here we go. Hello. What's happening? I would get Palmer above Cash on your bench. Maybe play him above Walker, but that's a close call. If you've only got 1 free transfer, roll. You're good. You've got the right captain in Mo Salah. Love you. Bye. Peter Randall says, could Pickford, Bowen, Colwell and Romero be a potential bench boost this week? Thanks. I think bench boosting in the midweek set of fixtures is way too risky, mate. way too risky. You know Colwell's going to play. Like, on the face of it, I say you got 3 definite starters there in Pickford, Romero and Bowen. Pickford's got a tough fixture. Bowen's got a tough fixture. That's got to look better in another week, I think. Got to, surely. Surely. I'm looking at Everton going to Burnley in 17. Jared Bowen's got Wolves at home. Romero's got Forest away. That looks better. And if Colwell's available, if he's in, he's got Sheffield United at home. Now, so what's the rest of your team? To be leaving the likes of Bowen out, you must have half decent team as well, I'm going to guess, Peter. So, you know, is Game Week 17 an option? That would be better, wouldn't it? Don't bench boost in a midweek single game week. I'm not keen on that at all, mate. Admittedly, I can't see the rest of your team, right? If you're sitting there with 11 great starters, then I still think, you know, for you, with that bench, look at Game Week 17, maybe. Steve Hamdi says, hi, James, start Share or Livramento. Do you know what? Share, probably. Steve says, hi, James, that's what we've done. David Toff says, if selling Areola instead of Strakosha allows all planned moves for the next 4-6 weeks, is it worth the risk? Well, who are you buying, mate? I'm going to guess this is the Dubravka shout, right? Fine. You should be fine. There's no reason to think Dubravka won't play all the games for Newcastle, at least until the new year, unless he gets injured himself. He's an absolutely fine goalkeeper. Yusuf says, hi James, what do you think Martinelli and Diaby to Son and Palmer -4, or Martinelli to Saka, or Diaby to any mid up to 8 million, or Areola to Dubravka? I have Mbeumo and Bowen already. You got so much going on there, mate, that I think the right answer is roll a transfer. Jay says, would you play Shimikas or Livramento? Shimikas. Heather says, hi James, no Q, just say thanks for the content, good luck this week. Thank you to you too, Heather. Benny Yu says, hey James, how's it going? Could Son haul against West Ham, considering he always scores against them? Could he? Yeah, of course he can, mate. Did he score against them last time? Yeah, he did, actually, in fairness. Did he score against them the game before at home? Yes, he did, in fairness. Scored twice. Before that was COVID. Did he score? Did he score? Don't think he did. Don't think he did. Before that, he scored a screamer at Wembley. In between that, we lost 1-0 at home. Antonio scored. So it's not an always, is it? He scored in the last 2 against them. Cool, Kushti. Can he haul? Yeah, of course he can. I've nearly captained him this week. But if you're asking from the wary about the Sheffield United manager bounce, I would just captain Salah if that's part of what your question is. Noah says, you think a hit for Dubravka is worth it? No hits for goalkeepers. Not having it. Unless you've got... If you've got no goalkeeper at all, you're sitting there with, you know, Pope. If you're sitting there with Pope and Turner, then, like, cool, I get it. Otherwise, no, none of that. Dan Moss says, hi James, hope you and the family are well. Thank you, you too. Hugo Smith says, hi James, with Dubravka in goal, would you start the Lascelles or Mitchell? Oh, it's a bit closer than the Gay one. Probably same, probably Mitchell, just about. Mainly minimal says, hi James, what odds do you give on Shimikas starting? Sorry if I answered already. About 70% I'm going for. Keith McLaughlin says, Eze to Hwang or Palmer, or Cash to Livra. What is this? Is it wildcard 19? Or is it longer term? If it's longer term, definitely Palmer, mate. Cash to Livramento is fine as well. Well, not a -4 though. Gazman says, start 2 of Diaby, Lascelles or Shimikas, please. James, Lascelles on the bench. Dan Moss says, is it worth Cash to James -4? Moving to move forward 1 week? No. Thomas McLeod says, good evening, James. When taking short-term punts ahead of wildcard, how much thought do you put into value built up egg Saka to Sterling next week, or just forget the 0.23 and hope it pays off? So I get what you're saying. It's like, oh, you definitely want Saka on the other side for your wildcard. Like I get that. So yeah, it should be an awareness. I spoke about this on the deadline stream, like in relation to like a Son, actually, the last one. But then I sold Watkins 0.5 up in a week. And I was aware of that, and aware that I'm going to go and buy him back, and I'll probably want him in my wild card as well. I went for the gain in the middle, so I think that's a narrative you can spin either way, but of course you should have an awareness of it. Absolutely, you should. My case of doing it was I was going to end up with Nunez and Watkins when I got to 18, was part of the thinking. But yeah, you should have an awareness of it. Like, I guess that's a definitive definite for me in Saka. So yeah, I'd be a bit reluctant to get rid on such a short period when I know I'd want him back. It's not like he can't return against Villa, Brighton or even at Anfield, right? He's a consistent beast. Colbine says, thoughts on wildcard 19 into bench boost 20 and triple captain Salah in 24. I love that you've worked this all out. Versus wildcard 19 into triple captain 20, Haaland 20, and save the bench boost if both double. I like the wildcard straight into bench boost combo, but scared of Haaland in 20. Okay, cool. So, a little bit of clarity for you here. So, Erling Haaland at the moment does not have a double game week in game week 20. And with each passing moment, we are getting less and less probability. And I think if we don't get an announcement in the next 4 days, then we are down to very low probability of the double happening. Also, for your, in theory, magnificent game week 24 double for Mo Salah of Luton at home, Burnley at home. Well, at the moment, that could just as easily be game week 25 and be still fine, Brentford away and Luton at home. However, I will throw you a cautious caveat for those who use my predicted fixtures on the planner, of which I actually have it predicted for game week 25 rather than game week 24 anyway. That's about to change when Peter updates FPL team when he gets the chance. He's out the country at the moment, so it won't happen soon. But keep an eye on it. We'll do it before the weekend, and you'll see Liverpool-Luton's going to move to something like game week 34. And that's because of the FA Cup draw. The FA Cup draw means Liverpool potentially losing to Arsenal. There'll be way less to need to suddenly rush to fix that Luton game in, right? Especially as their game week 29 opponents are scheduled to be Everton, and Everton are away to Crystal Palace. And currently, both teams will be favoured to go out the competition. And we may be confirmed Everton and Liverpool as a game week 29 fixture before game week 21 even happens. And if that's the case, I don't quite see why there'd be a rush to rearrange Liverpool and Luton into that week when it could wait. So, can't answer your question, mate. Fatal 1TY says, Captain Haaland or Salah. Salah's the preference. Shaz B says, good defenders to own under 4.7. Destiny Doggy, once he's had his yellow card and drops in price. Matty Cash, once he drops in price, has had his yellow card and then plays against Sheffield United. Livramento, Dawson, as I said, I don't mind, really short. There ain't huge amounts down. You're going right to the bottom, your Livramentos and stuff. Lascelles is now completely avoidable from a buy perspective. Irish Maverick says, bringing in Palmer, also have Son. Would you bring in Porro or Reece James? Would I bring in Porro, mate? Craig Gardner, -4 for Diaby to bring in Gordon. Is it worth it? Or risk Diaby again? No bench for the hit. I don't particularly think it's worth it. Just going to have a check, see if we've got any potential information perhaps on Arsenal. No, not forthcoming. Nothing specific on Wolves anyway, but I don't think we should be too concerned at this stage. Patrons, if we hear anything, drop us a tag. I'd really appreciate it. Tiffany says, bench Mikalenko or Lascelles, thank you. I think, although I'm predicting Everton to win, Tiffany, I think the right answer there is probably still to... Logic is most people would disagree with that, and therefore I think bench Mikalenko. James O says, Gay to Porro or Strakosha to Bravko, 1 free transfer or roll. Well, that's almost like an impossible one to answer based on what you've got. I think like Gay's got a good fixture this week. How much do you need the Bravka, right? Who's your other keeper? Like, I wouldn't be desperate to get him in. His price went up last night and might even go up tonight again. I have no idea. On the face of it, yeah, I'd love to get Porro, but Gay's got a good fixture this week as well. So, like, what's your impact, right? Are you not playing Gay? You know, are you playing Dubravka if you get him in? They're both fine as transfers. Like, I can't argue either of them. Torben Nielsen says, would you buy Dubravka if you had Raya and Areola? Not yet. No, because I'd probably be quite happy to go Raya tonight, Areola at Fulham. They won 1-0 there last year, and then reassess. So I wouldn't be in a rush, right? Newcastle got 2 away games, so it wouldn't be the best call necessarily to play either. I don't think it's Raya this week and it's Areola next week, isn't it? So I'd wait. Eurus says, hi James, bench 1, Hwang, Darwin or Mbeumo. Good luck. Oh my god. With huge reluctance. I'm going to have to say Hwang. Huge reluctance. John Bright says, hi James, sell Doku this week or roll the transfer and fix my bench of Turner, Cash, Kabore, Sarr. Got 1 million in the bank. Got 1 million in the bank. There's a number of things you can do there with that. Yeah, I think fix the the bench. Porro, as said, is an obvious one. Can't go like Sada Johnson. That's not on. I'm not that keen on doing that early. But Kabore, you can go up to loads, can't you, as well? You know, Newcastle coverage, a more solid Villa coverage, like a Pau Torres maybe if you want. I know that doesn't feel right now, and I get that. So it feels like Tottenham's probably the one you want to attack. You obviously can't go Kabore to Porro. Cash to Porro I think is reasonable. Goalkeeper is your least priority as long as you've got a playing one. Doku is arguably going to become part of that problem. Obviously, look, if you sell Doku and you're really comfortable that the rest of your players at least get minutes, then I suppose that's maybe the right move. Maybe. But we don't have the information. Maybe plays. We don't know, right? So I think it's probably fix up. Kabore is a problem for you. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's fix that. And go for something like Dawson that just gives you really nice cover for a few weeks. Lackland says, can only afford one of Watkins or Son for blank game week, which is affected by game week 16 move. Faults. Because of the immediate in front, the priority for me would be Sonny, actually. Ryan Max says, hi James, hope you're well. Any news on the Wolves keeper situation? Not officially, no, but we think Sarr will play. We are about 3 minutes to deadline. We think he trained yesterday. I don't know that factually, but that's the word that's been going around. John Long says, story James, bench Diaby, Gordon or Mitchell. Meninda says, Harry not convinced João Pedro starts. No, clearly not. Joshua, I am actually for a change. Joshua says, hi there. Would you do Mitoma to Palmer to Gordon? Mitoma to... No, keep Mitoma, I think, this week at this moment. As much as a pain, I'd get through the next two, I think. Angus says, start Adingra or Gay. Adingra, Gavin says, was going to roll this week, but Dubravka was too tempting. Surely a good 3-month move for free. Thoughts? Yeah, as long as I don't buy anyone in January, which they probably won't. Shaz B says, get Trent or Son for a hit or for free. Son for free. Felix says, so easy to like, folks. Just hit the button and move on. Thank you. FPL Dreamers, worth a like. Thank you, James. Shout out Harry. Thank you, mate. Broad says, dear sir, cash to Saliba means benching Lascelles. Longer term, I can't argue it. Do you want to look at double Arsenal defence if that's the way you're going for the next couple? But on the face of it, I cannot argue that. Lackland says, not sure if answered previously, but how long do you think Lascelles lasts with news Botman was scheduled for full team training this week? There's been conflicting reports whether he rejoined full training yesterday or is doing it next week. So I don't think Botman starts this week. So 15, 16, fine. 17 has to be a concern now. Mish says, hi James, best 4 or 4.1 defender for next 6 to 8 game weeks. Please suggest looking at Branthwaite at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's a safe one to play every game, but there's not many times that you play him. So, I mean, how bothered are you about the minutes, for example? So, Burnley player maybe is an alternative. In the sense that if you didn't want to play Bayer this week, his suspension at least is out of the way. But he is injury prone. Stewie Bryan says, will you let Harry play FPL in the future? Yes, if he wants to. MRCX, you're welcome. Construction Pakistan says, hey, need to start any two of Gay, Bowen and Palmer, the attacking players. Prania says, I meant start one from Cash, Taylor, Kabore. I'd still Cash probably, mate. Jay Barker says, likelihood of an 8 Nori appearance, have Cash first sub if no show. We should transfer Livramento for Bayer. Reluctant to do so as I see a lot of power in rolling. Yeah, get that. Your chance of an 8 Nori appearance are next to 0 for this game week, mate. And I wouldn't bank on him returning at the weekend either. Also, have you seen the GTA 6 trailer? No, I have not. Gary Lawless says, hi James. Hello, Gary. Construction says, benching dilemma. We've done that, mate. Repeat questioners in here. Just get muted, pal. Irish Maverick says, start Alvarez or Palmer. Alvarez. Russell Knight says, I have Gordon, Botman, Lascelles, Fleck and Areola. Thinking Botman for James Dubravka have enough for Trippier -4. Don't think you can buy Trippier at this moment. Covered. Forget that. Gary says, hi James. Thoughts on Anderson for Palace or Diaby against City? Start. Still go Diaby, mate. Marco says Salah or Son captain. It's on the screen, mate. Felix says bench one. Mbeumo, Gordon, Palmer. It's on the screen, mate. Like most of these questions I'm answering, oddly enough. Peter Pan says, hey James, what do you think of Martinez Saka for -4? It's another question I'm bored of, mate. Covered it near the start. Sorry if you joined a bit late, mate. Sam Emerson says, hey James, I'm coming at you with another benching dilemma. I need to bench 2 of Gabriel, Palmer or Bowen. Have Saliba, Trent and Trippier as my 3 defenders. And Sam, I'm coming at you with the same answer. Just give the last people, mate. The answer's literally on the screen, mate. It's on the screen. Oh, I imagine Gabriel's not there, but I wouldn't bench Gabriel. Sod that. I'd put Gabriel with Zinchenko. Forgive me. So Palmer. Palmer's the one to bench. And I make it deadline, guys. Unfortunately, I don't have to answer any more Gordon, Palmer, Bowen, -4 hit questions. Shit. Whatever. Sorry to all those I didn't get to on the questions. If you want to tweet me and ask a question, I'll answer it after the deadline if you want. Sorry. Shit happens. I tried. Harry. Hello.
Hello.
Good boy. Right. If anyone's got any non-FPL questions, happy to spend about 10 minutes covering it off. But I want to spend some time with my son now, to be totally honest. So I'll be quick about content. Deadline stream Saturday, 10 a.m. I'll be here, back in the blue wall room, the Zoom studio. Tomorrow, as said, COTC Man United versus Bournemouth. By the way, if you've not listened to today's COTC on Villa City, like, there's a lot of FPL on there. But I tell you what, if you've got nothing to do the next hour, listen to it. I think it's a really, really good COTC. Really interesting, talking about Villa's prospects, City, and the potential of the problems of obviously not playing with Rodri, some concerns. And it's forward thinking as well. We discussed Gameweek 18 quite a lot and manoeuvring that, both from the wanting Villa and manoeuvring the Manchester City players. So I'd still really strongly recommend listening to that, actually. Sky Fantasy Football Podcast will be Thursday this week. Suj is calling me. Did you miss the deadline, bitch?
Nah, I didn't today, mate. Although, like, literally logged into FPL when your deadline stream went live, mate.
Ah, okay.
So,
Harry, mummy's home.
Listen, I only tuned in, if you can tell the listeners something.
Go on then. So, you're on speaker, mate.
On Sunday, you are going to Tottenham Newcastle.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a bunch of boys that are going to represent Planet FPL to the FPL Juice 5-a-side down in Mill Hill.
Yeah.
We got 2 guys, 1 cup sham, FPL Bruno, another chap called Elliot. We got Kevin. We got a few players. Anyway, I've got to go on their stream at 8 p.m. later today.
Yeah.
We're going to pick up 3 or 4 more draft players. So if anyone's not watching the games later on, wants to tune in, come and see Juice, where we'll flesh out our squad.
All right, jump on FPL Juice 8 o'clock tonight. Good job.
Indeed.
Did you make any transfers, boss?
None.
None. You rolled, yeah.
Rolled, yeah.
The power.
The question I deleted earlier was guess Palmer versus Diaby, and I know sort of benchline dilemmas. I'm confused why you'd play Diaby over Palmer. You know.
I think Villa will win, and I think Diaby starts.
I saw, and then to be honest, I benched Cash and played both Palmer and Diaby anyway. So.
Fair dues.
Oh, listeners, I'll be back in a couple of days.
Harry, can you say hello, Suj? Harry, can you say hello, Suj?
Hello, Harry.
Hello, Harry.
Hello. Can you say pay rise?
No?
Can you say pay rise?
Harry, can you say P45? Can you say P45?
I guess I will.
No, he said no. He said sod you, mate. He said sod you.
I'll speak to you in a bit.
All right, ciao, boss. Lots of love. Bye. That's Suj. Who we got? Peter Pan. Yep. Sorry, was late here, so my question was a repeat. Hopefully your answer was whatever I did. Okay, good. Sorry, Peter. Static says non-FPL thoughts on CM Punk's return. Great, wasn't it? It was quite shocking. I wasn't watching it live, but I woke up at some stupid o'clock. I had a bit of a stomachache that morning. It was like 5 o'clock. And I did look, and I was really surprised that it happened, actually. So, yeah, it's good. Look, it's interesting stuff. Island Boy FPL says, non-FPL James, heard anything else about Red FC takeover? Not as much recently. No, I know they've a couple of decent results recently in the league. Then obviously lost to Eastleigh in the Cup, which is a shitter. I know they got quite a bit of attention by doing the old tennis ball protest at the weekend, but I've not heard anything on the grapevine. I'm sure you would know more than me. Ben Murphy says, Sky question, can I sell Pope now and keep Saturday's points new to the game? Yes, of course you can, mate. Yes, you do. So, as long as you're selling after the first deadline, you're fine. So, that if you'd have sold Pope at 5 o'clock on Saturday, it wouldn't have mattered. You'd have still got Pope's points on Saturday, mate. Sweet Blues, the FPL bits are still relevant for future game, which too was a great pod as all the COT. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah, I was doing content, wasn't I? Thursday, Sky Fantasy. Friday... Game Review Pod. Hopefully Suj will be back. He's been at the dentist. Probably heard he's speaking slow, like he's slurring, or maybe he's drunk. I don't know. Patreon content for the rest of this week. I got away days for my trip to the Etihad tomorrow for advanced and intermediate plus tier patrons. For basic plus and above, tomorrow we've got Tottenham Arse. Be talking Tottenham and obviously reacting to Arsenal's performance tonight. And I think Clayton wants to chat about Jesus and Zinchenko longer term a little bit, I think. And I'll talk more about the shenanigans of getting to and from Manchester at the weekend. I think it's quite funny. Thursday, what are we doing? Harry, what am I doing Thursday? I'm really short of sleep. Harry, what's the Patreon pod on Thursday? Oh, I'm doing Ask James for the patrons on Thursday. Differential show, Gameweek preview Friday. Mainly Minimal says, would ever get a hair transplant? Thanks, mate. Well, I wouldn't, mate. I can't afford one, mate. Barry Coleman says, which Scotland players would you take at Spurs? What a good question. What a good question. I don't want to say none. I get absolutely slaughtered. I'm just trying to think, in seriousness, how many players from Scotland would get in the team. I mean, John McGinn's springing as someone who would certainly be competitive for a place in the team. Does he stylistically match to what Ange wants? I'd probably say no, but I like John McGinn. So there isn't anyone off the top of my head. I've got to be honest. Gavin says non-FPLQ. Good, because we don't want any more FPLQs. If your chicken place had to use a different meat, no choice. What? Same recipe, which meat? Do you understand that question, babe?
Yeah, so if
your chicken place had to use a different meat.
Yeah, because there was no chicken.
Oh.
What's your second favourite meat? I know the answer.
Well, love lamb, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, suits me fine, mate. Just have a lamb kebab instead of a chicken kebab.
Beef for me.
Beef for you. Okay, fine. Yeah, the wife's come home in case you hadn't realised. You're welcome, Chris. You're welcome, Gavin. Nadir says, dark horses outside the top three for the Champions League. City, Madrid and Bayern being the three. I'd rather not say. Because it's fairly obvious. And they play not far from where I live. The Smiths 1986 non-FPL with Mike Duff, who is now the biggest CM2 legend in management. Is he? That's good. Espen says, thanks for a great live stream. Have you ever eaten Norwegian brown cheese?
I don't think your arse would like that.
No, I don't think my arse would like that, is what she said, if you didn't hear that. Static said, on Punk's return, it was nuts. The Survivor Series logo went up to indicate it was over and bam, hits the logo. Yeah, I've seen it, obviously. Yeah, it's good stuff. They definitely pulled the wall over everyone. David Hunt says, glad you liked my Photoshop work, mate. Lee and Johnny were great on COTC. First one I've seen where Johnny didn't eat a sandwich throughout. Yeah, do you know why as well? In fairness to Johnny, we nearly always end up doing it with Johnny when he's on a lunch break. And I talk too much. So he knows he might be an hour with me. So if he wants to eat, he's going to eat during the podcast. We recorded it last night. Martin Taylor says, Harry has some serious hair. You must be so jealous. Yes, I struggle to sleep at night, mate. Andrew, Harry, that's problematic, mate. Come here, you little trouble. Andrew Sands says, is the way Ange playing Spurs his football philosophy? Is he making the most of the players at his disposal? Do you see your playing style changing with new additions? Did you see how they played with the previous managers, mate? It's definitely Ange. FPL Big Lick says, any idea why minutes added on at the end of game has reduced? I love the start of the season if it stopped time wasting. I don't particularly feel like it has reduced massively. But it was always going to calm down a little bit. I said that at the start. They were trying to make a point, but it's largely continued. Andrew says, isn't it refreshing not to have loads of leaks? Whatever. Matthew says, good evening, James. Sky question. Anthony Gordon worth a punt. Look at moving on Diaby. Yeah, I mean, look, you can judge that on Thursday. That's a possible. That's a possible, but you need to be a bit more cautious with punts in Sky, right? And it's a short-term period now. Does he cover you anything for captaincy? Like, Diaby might prove to be more useful for you when that Sheffield United game comes around. So I kind of the opinion to say leave it. But you might look at tomorrow night. He gets minimal minutes. And you might think, nah. Birth Media says, Billy Gilmore. Yeah, I mean, Billy Gilmore stylistically, yeah, sure. Is he better than Bissouma or Bentancur? Being realistic, I think not. Sweet Blues says more of this for future weeks, more midweek deadlines maybe. Andre says, do you think the Premier League will face serious sanction in the future due to all the money similar to what happened in Serie A? Sanctioning from who? It's a bit too powerful, I think, mate. Super Sam Play says, James, did you say game week preview or review on Friday? Both. So there's a game week review on Friday for everybody, and then there's a game week preview on Patreon. Harry, do you need the toilet?
No.
You might need to go.
He just said no.
Oh, all right. No, then. Yeah, but he'd say no anyway. Carl Wells says, what's your thoughts on Leicester, and do you think they will struggle in the Prem after walking the Championship? It's so far away. I saw the last 10 minutes or so at the weekend. I was really pleased. Obviously, Winksy scored. He was so happy. I thought he'd missed it as well. Yeah, look, it's, again, completely different style now of Enzo Maresca. Let's see what they do in the transfer window. I'll be totally honest, if you drop Leicester in the Premier League at this minute in time, there's every chance they'd stay up. So, but it depends on the business, right? I think all of us expected Burnley to do much better than they have, but then they didn't have the transfer window that we thought. TW says, how comes you've not been sleeping, going hard on the content as I know you do? Because Manchester was a long day, so I was up stupid early, got home stupid late, and then was up stupid early to get all the pods yesterday, and then was up stupid late yesterday to plan for this one. So tonight, I intend to watch Arsenal lose and then go to bed. One might happen, the other probably won't. Cheers, Richard. The Smith says, non-FPL, why the defence is so crap? 5 sub rule or extra minutes in games, or a mixture of both, or something else you have identified? Oh, sorry, I think you wanted another comment in there. I get what you're saying now. Extra minutes is certainly having an effect. I think there's more goals being scored. I think the speed of the game is increasing. The majority of teams in the league are playing offensive football at the moment. Even Arsenal. I mean, I know there's a few people have been saying they've been boring, right? But boring in comparison to perhaps what we saw, the frenetic pace of stuff last year. But if you look at all the top teams, and this hasn't always been the case, or even if you say, let's take the top 6 at the moment, they've all played it a little bit different, but all want to play offensive football. So that's going to have an impact. Plus, as much as we criticise United, you've got teams like United, Chelsea, Brighton behind that. Teams like West Ham and Brentford have got really good forwards now. Wolves. Everybody wants to play offensively generally. Nearly everybody wants to play offensively. Even Forest are trying to change. It's not working, but they're trying to change. Wolves are trying to become a way more progressive football team. Fulham have tried to be. Losing Mitrovic this year hasn't helped, right? Burnley have come up, want to be progressive. Luton can't, really, because they just haven't got the ability to go and buy people and change. Rob Edwards doesn't really, I don't think he wants to play the way that they're playing particularly. So we're in an era at the moment which we should enjoy. Ewan Green says, be nice to each other, fellas. We are a community player your way. Love your work, James. Thank you. FPL Big Lick says, it's defo not continued in the championship. Andrew Sands says, Harry clearly needs a tripod and camera for Xmas. Yep, we'll get that for him. Russell Baker says, my prediction this week is that Turner wins his place back. Harry, if you eat your apple, Daddy's got a treat. No, you got to eat your apple first.
You do? I don't.
I don't want it. Oh, I don't want it.
I don't want it.
Why not? It's good for you. So now I've got an apple to hold. Great. Russell says, my prediction is that, thank you, wife, is that Turner wins his place back. Not convinced. Anthony says, hi James, do you watch anything non-FPL related on YouTube? Thanks and good this game week. Only football stuff, but not specifically like any shows or anything like that. But more be stuff I come across by accident. Nathan says, hi James, do you need the toilet? No, I'm alright at the moment, thanks. Andrew says, Harry needs toilet. Q Pusik, please, man child. Andrew Sands, what's white and can't climb trees? Do you know that? Do you want that, wife? What's white and can't climb trees?
A snowball.
A fridge. Yeah, I know it's shit, innit?
But there's
So,
loads of things that could be. Also, not all fridges are white. Racist.
oh, Andrew, you've been done on racism grounds. Andrew says, oh, he's got another one. What's white, wears checkered trousers and can't climb trees? Rupert the fridge. Yeah, Andrew, I'd probably sort out the dad jokes here, mate. FPL Joe says, hi James, hope you're well. Got one transfer. I'm wondering if I should move on Lewis for Villa with 0 points. Sod that. Deadline's gone, pal. Thanks. Have a great evening. James says, why did the baker have brown hands? Because he didn't have, I'm going to guess he didn't have white bread, mate. Apparently it's because he needed a poo.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I mean, you know, this is. What's a magic word?
Please.
Right. Come here. I need you to say, sign up to Patreon.
Please.
Can you say Patreon? Can you say thank you?
Thank you. Oh. Say please.
What is it? Do you know what it is?
It's a cookie.
It's a cookie. Right, ask your mum and she'll get it out for you. Okay, I nearly killed my wife. Right, last one. Nathan says, if you said something in the forest and wifey wasn't around to hear it, would you still be wrong? Don't get it, mate. What a random way to end the stream. Right, lots of love. I'm sorry, I've got to go because I want to spend 10 minutes with my son. And then I'm recording tomorrow's COTC with Gary and Neil, which will be out for you tomorrow lunchtime issues. Lots of love. Hit the sub button. Smash the like on your way out. Hope your arrows are green. Ciao for now. Harry, can you say bye?
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.